ladder of mercy. If you see the standard yoga ladder, which is to my left, so it starts with karma kanda, karma yoga. That means you practice karma yoga, but you are still attached to the results. Nishkama karma yoga means you practice karma yoga, you're detached from results. Your detachment has improved to that extent that eventually it leads to Jnana yoga, complete detachment work, cessation of work, and just focused on spiritual knowledge. And that, when it increases, it can lead to meditation, not just knowledge but also meditating on the Lord in the heart. And that further stages is bhakti yoga, where you connect with the Lord as a loving devotee. So the some of these stages need, say for example, to come to nishkama karma yoga, you need to go through sakam. For come to jnana, you need to go through nishkama karma yoga. And for coming to dhyana, either through jnana or nishkama karma yoga, you can come in either ways. But surely nishkama karma is the basic for jnana and dhyana. However, for bhakti, you can start wherever you are, and eventually through the process of bhakti itself, one can actually rise. So that we have seen in the previous classes. I'm pretty sure you're all introduced to this concept of yoga ladder. Here in this chapter 12, verse 12, Krishna introduces another ladder, which is slightly unconventional. He says, if you cannot do bhakti, do jnana. If you cannot do jnana, do dhyana. If you cannot do dhyana, do nishkama. This is how Prabhupada interprets it. This is not the only way to see that verse, but this is how Prabhupada interprets it. And if you see, there is jnana and dhyana, the orders are all like slightly changed. And we will see the reason, of course. So that is why this verse is confusing. And also, we see usually we say bhakti, we keep it on the top. And here, Krishna is like flipping it. He's saying bhakti is the best, but if you cannot do jnana, otherwise do dhyana, otherwise do nishkama karma yoga. So naturally, question may come. This chapter is about bhakti yoga. The title of the chapter itself is bhakti. So bhakti should be emphasized. So is bhakti not the most accessible path? That's what we always say. Yes, bhakti is the most accessible path. However, with bhakti, there is one hidden factor also, that bhakti needs the mercy of a devotee. It needs association of devotees. It does not usually come on its own. So that is why, if in case that this person is not having association, has not accumulated that level of mercy, then from their own perspective, if someone wants to practice spiritual life, then nishkarma yoga is also very approachable, especially in the absence of the association of devotees. That is more approachable than dhyana or jnana. So that is the understanding here. It's not that he is placing nishkama karma yoga above bhakti. He is saying, in case if there is no devotional association available, if people don't know about bhakti at all, so then everybody works in this world. There is no person who does not do something to maintain themselves. So it's natural if they can start approaching that work as a means to connect with Krishna, that would be easier for them. This is only in the case when there is no association of bhakti is not available. So 12.8 to 11 is called as ladder of love because it's literally about bhakti alone. There is very little about anything else. Fix your mind on Krishna, otherwise practice sadhana, otherwise work for me directly, or do your work and offer your results to me. So this is directly about bhakti. But this verse 12 is not just about bhakti, it includes other aspects also. That's why I have named it separately as ladder of mercy and ladder of yoga. So if it was anything is confusing or difficult, we can clarify now before I proceed further. You're like, what's Krishna's problem? Why too many options? So Krishna is making sure he's covering everyone. That's the thing. He's like trying to be as accommodative as possible. Mercy means accommodation. So that's what he's trying to do. So for those who cannot follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, Bhakti Yoga, then Krishna says, okay, it's better to cultivate knowledge. What is that knowledge? Knowledge about why are we living in this world? What is the purpose of human life? Why there is birth, death? Why there is all these sufferings in this world? It's very natural. You go out in New York City, a lot of people ask these questions because there is so much suffering in the world. There is so much difficulty. So naturally, people come with that frustration. Many times we see kirtans for programs, when for book distribution, we meet people like that who are tired from life. So Krishna is saying, okay, If you cannot practice bhakti, actually question, ask intelligent questions. Why are you suffering in this world? Why all these problems exist? And better than jnana, just asking about thing is just taking up a personal practice where where you quiet yourself and focus on some spiritual knowledge. It's good to just think about, ask questions, but just discussion does not lead us anywhere. But it's better to actually focus on something. So that's why dhyana is better than knowledge, because knowledge gradually develops into meditation. So if one cannot even meditate, but they have all these questions, how do I operate in this world? What do I do about? So then it's better to actually act with detachment. Do your work with detachment. Take a step back, settle down, be little composed, and do your work as a means to connect with Krishna. Then from that, there some peace will come. From that peace, naturally, we will be able to think better. So some detachment, some renunciation will give peace, because in this world, people are all struggling to be peaceful. They all want to be happy. However, if they are not peaceful, they cannot be happy. Now, if I get a ball of rasgullas, and then if someone keeps a gun on my head, I won't be able to enjoy the gulab jamuns or rasgullas or a cheesecake, whatever it is that we love to enjoy in this world. So happiness is not possible when there is no peace of mind. So that's why Krishna is saying, at least get some peace, get a break. Then on top of that peace, we can build bhakti, we can build other things. So for us also, if we are in devotion and we are always like running around, we are so disturbed, then we cannot actually get any benefit from the practices of bhakti. We have to be peaceful. That's why if you want to chant attentively, then you have to be peaceful. You cannot think of thousand things and unnecessarily agitate yourself. Of course, life throws problems, whether we want or not. But we also approach and create newer problems, newer, what do you call, things to think about when we are about to chant. It's okay, somebody in the world will be peaceful, but we are thinking everything that we came across during the day, keep ourselves agitated during the chanting. So then we are not peaceful, we cannot focus. So that's why Krishna is saying, at least get peaceful, then gradually you can also grow devotion. And understanding Srila Prabhupada's purport to this verse, because Prabhupada had mentioned something which Purva, Mother Indra, all of them wanted clarification. So we are going to look at this purport pretty much, most of the purport we are going to discuss. So for those who are actually not able to follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, it is better to cultivate knowledge, because by knowledge, one can be able to understand his real position. What is real position? That is, the soul is tiny, it's struggling in this world, material world is temporary. This is our real position. So that is what Krishna is saying. Prabhupada is saying, okay, if you cannot directly practice bhakti, cultivate knowledge about your real position, how you're in a temporary world and you're struggling to become happy, and why you're not able to be happy as you would expect yourself to be. So that knowledge can help us to become more sober. Gradually, that soberness, that knowledge will develop to the point of meditation. We would be interested in taking up to some kind of spiritual practice. So many people directly they cannot come to bhakti where there is Krishna and they want to be the servant of Krishna. So many people would like to just sit in meditation, just focus on nothing, focus on like something. Usually people don't know what they're focusing on, but usually they just want to be quiet because they're not peaceful. They just want to be quiet. They want to slow down the wheels of passion and ignorance. So develop some goodness. So by meditation, one can be able to understand the Supreme Lord by a gradual process. If they are in the association of devotees, then they can gradually come. So the confusions happen in the cultivation of knowledge. There are processes which make one understand that one himself is the supreme. And that sort of meditation is preferred if one is unable to engage in devotional service. So the confusion was, how can we be equal to supreme? Like we always know the soul is tiny, infinitesimal, and God is infinite. So how can there be any approved meditation which thinks God as equal to the soul? Is that the confusion, Purva and Mother Indra?
Yes, and yes, that is it. So how
Okay.
can the jiva be equal to Parma? Whether the supreme here is referring to Krishna or not. I
Okay.
suppose so. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Purva, for clarifying. So the idea is, again, this whole ladder is ladder of mercy, where they are trying to accommodate people with different spiritual interests. If they cannot come to bhakti, at least have some spiritual interest. So there are people we know, we have discussed in the beginning of the chapter, that they are interested in impersonal practices. So if a person is not able to do bhakti, that's when we are discussing this. So this person is not having a mood of personal service to someone. They don't want to be a servant of anybody. They don't understand, okay, why should I be this love, this relationship? They are not able to understand all those things. They're like, come on, give me a break. I'm already frustrated with so many relationships in this world. People are so complicated. They just don't listen to you. You can't control. That's why we're all happy controlling our phones. We can't control people. So then, so we are like, oh no, I don't want another relationship. It's too much to get into love and all these things. So they are not so much inclined for that kind of spiritual practice. So for them, then they want to, we want to cultivate knowledge. So then usually the kind of knowledge they prefer to cultivate is about the soul, about the temporariness of this world. And they also want to connect with the supreme, but their idea of supreme is just an impersonal supreme. So some of them are specifically would like to see themselves as one with the supreme. So here when Prabhupada says if people want to consider themselves one with the supreme, it is possible because the supreme is one and different from the soul, one in quality and different in quantity. So these people can meditate on that oneness of with the supreme. Say for example, I'm gonna run over to. Usually the supreme is eternal and the soul is also eternal. They probably can actually focus on this eternality. I exist eternally and the supreme exists, the Brahman exists, the impersonal energy exists eternally. In that sense, they can identify with them. I am eternal and the supreme is also eternal. So we are eternal. That level of oneness they can meditate on, if that's what they are looking for. Because these people are not able to, what do you call it? It's a little bit of a ego thing also, that they would like to feel like they are someone who's great like that. So it's a gradual process. They are also being accommodated. So the idea here is not just exactly 100% the soul is the supreme. Prabhupada, for want of, he's just trying to explain a concept in a single line. So he just mentions it, but the details are, it's called as ahangar in the Mayavad. And in Brahmavadis also, there is this level of meditation where you focus on the oneness aspect. Bhakti usually focuses on the difference aspect. Krishna is big, soul is tiny. So we focus on the difference, they focus on the oneness. Does that in any way help you clarify some things?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you. So then in this part, there can be no service done, isn't it, on this part?
Yes, that's the problem. That's why devotees don't like this kind of meditation, because
So then, oh, sorry.
no, go on.
So then the Mayavadis, when they read the Gita and they come to this chapter, what do? How do they
That's why
accept
they
this?
cannot digest it. That's why Krishna is giving at the end, okay, if you cannot do any of these things, then it does not mean like you cannot do anything at all. So that is why I named it ladder of mercy. After discussing 8, 9, 10, and 11, if there are people who just don't want to connect with God in a personal way at all, in any level, it's okay. Then do something. Yeah, that's why Krishna is merciful, accommodative. He has an impersonal feature, he has Paramatma feature, he has personal feature. People have different inclinations. To meet them where they are, he has created all these different features. And there are people who still consider themselves exactly equal to God. That is considered offensive. That does not lead them anywhere, but at least they'll be like more a mode of goodness in this world. But God knows what, where that takes them eventually, though.
Thank you.
Okay. So then, okay, if one is not even able to meditate in such a way, then actually everybody has some job. At least Prabhupada is quoting here, according to the Vedic literature, there are some are Brahmanas, some are teachers, some are administrators into government, some are into business, maintaining resources, some are artists, some are into artistry, being the support system for other jobs, more what do you call resources. They are pretty much the resources for all other industries, all other kind of jobs. So out of these four categories, whatever one is having an inclination, whatever job in today's modern age, it's pretty much tea, business, governance, politics, teaching. So whatever job, artist, in any kind of job that we are, so let's just engage. So Krishna is saying, okay, engage in that and give up the results of the fruits of the labor. So by giving it for some good cause, at least you get some good result, good karma, then there is some peace. Usually by hoarding, we become anxious, but by giving, we can gradually become peaceful. So that is Krishna's idea. Okay, you cannot practice bhakti, practice jnana. You can practice jnana, at least practice meditation. Even that is not possible. Do you anyway do some work. So engage the results of that work for some good cause. So basically, he's trying to accommodate as much as possible. So naturally, the question is, why is Krishna speaking about giving the fruits of work for some good cause? This chapter is Bhakti Yoga. So Krishna should be speaking directly about Bhakti Yoga. So why include Nishkama Karma and all these other things in the hierarchy? So the understanding is Krishna is trying to break the shell of selfishness. The soul is completely embroiled in selfish attitude. It just this me and my enjoyment. That's where we are usually winding up in this world. So Krishna wants to break that shell of selfishness, create a little crack in that, include others in the equation. If you cannot include Krishna, at least include somebody, expand your consciousness. So there is two things. One is elevating. I took this from Chaitanya Prabhu. So if it sounds technical, that's the reason. So elevating one's consciousness and expanding one's consciousness. There are two aspects to spiritual life. We try to connect with Krishna, so that is elevating our consciousness, transcending our consciousness. But within this world, usually for some people, it's very difficult to connect with Krishna directly. So at least Krishna has encouraged them to expand their consciousness. Otherwise, we are just too selfish. So that's why he's saying, okay, if you expand your consciousness, there is a chance that you come across devotees, you help devotees, you develop Sukruti, and eventually you get the benefit, mercy of a devotee, then you can connect with Krishna. So this is for people who cannot directly connect with Krishna. Okay, you cannot go in horizontally, at least go vertically. So Krishna consciousness is not dependent on any other. This is I'm taking from Srila Prabhupada's purport. Krishna consciousness is not dependent on any other experience. You can directly come to bhakti because Krishna consciousness itself can purify one's mind. But if there are impediments to accepting Krishna consciousness, one may try to give up the results of his actions. In that respect, social service, community service, national service, sacrifice for one's country may be accepted so that someday one may come to the stage of pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Not everyone can just be on that stage of pure devotional service in the society. Okay, if you can do that, engage in the society in a positive way, contribute to the society. So it does not mean if you become a devotee, you don't contribute at all. You do contribute, but your focus in life is connecting with Krishna. So in Bhagavad Gita 18.46, we find it is stated as Kana, means Krishna says, if one decides to sacrifice for the supreme cause, even if he does not know that the supreme cause is Krishna, he will gradually come to understand that Krishna is a supreme cause caused by the sacrificial method. If someone thinks, whoever is that supreme, for their pleasure I'm doing, if they think like that and perform their activities selflessly, then Krishna accepts that. So it's basically we are too selfish in general. So we try to include others in the equation. We try to help someone in the society. But best is if we can connect with Krishna, and through that connection, if we can actually engage in everything. Because it's not that if you connect with Krishna, you cannot help others. That's why we saw Krishna, Prabhupada included everything within ISKCON. We do food for life, we do so many other kinds of public welfare, and everything is included in the service to Krishna. But if somebody is, it's difficult to engage with ISKCON, engage with bhakti, they just are not having that opportunity. So Krishna is saying, okay, do something beyond your own personal selfishness. Yes, Ma Purva.
Prabhuji, what you said that people can at least engage in some sacrifice as long as they know that they are sacrificing something for someone who is not Krishna per se, they might not know him, but just someone who is greater, isn't
Yeah.
it? The problem is that a lot of times we see that people are moving away from religion and religious activities because of various reasons, and then they still engage in these pious activities like donating food or clothes and everything, but not under the name of any god. But that will not help us to break the chain of karma, like cycle, karmic cycle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if I just donate food regularly to someone not under the name of Krishna or anyone supreme, in the next birth I would still have to come back and take back that charity from them, is it?
Still, it is much better than just being a thief, being an antisocial element,
Yes.
being selfish, hoarding too much, causing trouble to the society, right? So there is a, what do you call, a bird's eye viewpoint of life. And if you just always approach life from that, not everybody can fit into that viewpoint. So is it much better than just being selfish and not sharing it anything? It's surely much better, right? So let them do. If they don't know better, at least let them do that. And the hope is that if devotees can actually make facilities for everyone to come and get connected gradually. And that is why Krishna is exactly discussing the next section that we are going to see. How can we be good devotees so that we can connect everyone? That's another reason that he's going to discuss in the next section from verses 13 onwards. There's pretty much discussion about the qualities of devotees. So we will see why. So you don't have to be perfect to be progressing in bhakti. You just have to be sincere. So if any of these does not make sense, sounds very confusing, bhakti is so simple. It's simple chanting of Hare Krishna and cooking some food that you would like to eat, that you would like to offer to Krishna, and offer it to Krishna, take it, try to just listen to some kirtan and gradually associate with devotees. If you're sincere, then naturally everything falls in place gradually. So we are not perfect. That's for sure. There is no doubt about it. So that does not mean we cannot progress because we are not perfect. So the lessons that we can see from this particular section is that bhakti is a relationship. It's not just a mechanical practice. That's why Krishna is making so much accommodation. So he's giving, not this means you do this. It's like a father and child. If the child says no, I don't want to do that, then the parents naturally give options. Okay, you don't want to do that, do this, do that, like that. So Krishna is loving. That's why he's giving so many options. It's a relationship. It's not just a mechanical practice. So Krishna is within bhakti also. He has created various levels so that we can gradually improve. And we have to start where we are. We cannot think, oh, that's a better place to start, so I'll jump there. No, we cannot jump anywhere. We are where we are. So it's better to accept where we are and gradually increase everything. So if we are on a stage where we cannot actually commit to a high level of sadhana, commit to something. Commit to 10 minutes of chanting, 5 minutes of chanting. Commit to something. Everyone can commit to something. So commitment is the crux. So commit somewhere, but start where you are and then gradually go. And the bhakti will follow with the commitment. Emotions for Krishna and wanting to do bhakti, all those things will come with the commitment. So start where you are, commit yourself, and everything will follow commitment. So one honest step is better than 100 imagined ones. It sounds cheesy, right? That's why I put it there. So the reflection that we all can engage in the coming week is, am I utilizing the ladder of love to deepen my connection with Krishna? There's so much opportunities that Krishna is giving. Okay, you cannot always fix your mind, then do sadhana. If you can do sadhana, work directly for me. If you cannot do direct service to Krishna, then do some, engage in your job and give something as a donation. If you can do that, do something good in the world. He's giving us so many opportunities within bhakti also. So are we utilizing that, and how are we utilizing it, and how can we actually utilize it better? We can go back and meditate, and how can I actually utilize all these other things also to my benefit? Do I do any service for Krishna? How can I actually increase it? What kind of sadhana I do? What kind of commitment I have? What kind of regular practices I have? How can I increase it? And am I, if even if I'm doing, am I developing a desire to attain Krishna? So how can I actually focus on those practices more consciously? So in this way, this section, Krishna lays down various opportunities for us to get connected to him. And the last section is qualities of devotees.